There comes a time in every person's life where you hear a story of legend. A mythical story from a parallel universe where things are slightly similar to our own, but with a few tiny differences. Like a separate reality where Sonic looks exactly like Sonic, except he's exactly 4% more pink. As we know, the ever-famous and popular ex-Sonic merchandise company Jazwares had a vast array of really cool Sonic collectibles. From large boys to tiny friends, their line was as expensive as it was ubiquitous. But in the very beginning, the company was only known for re-releasing molds of Toy Island's Sonic toy line. The Toy Island Sonic contributions have been covered a little bit on this channel already, but I will never forget the winter of 2008 when I was looking through sonicgear.org. There it was, a mock-up image showing that Jazwares was going to re-release the Toy Island bendable Sonic and Shadow. My heart stopped. My eyes widened. Nothing else mattered in the world. Okay, all joking aside, the reason this was cool was despite the fact that Toy Island's Sonic molds weren't the best, the bendable figures specifically had a very limited release and were difficult to find from the start. Shadow specifically was incredibly rare, so the fact these guys were going to get re-released was actually pretty cool. So I waited patiently for the release of these figures. 2008 turned into 2009, 2009 turned into 2010, and by 2011, Jazwares was ready to make their 20th anniversary line of collectibles. It was starting to look like these figures weren't going to be released after all, which was a real shame. It was always something I'd wanted, but I guess it was just a mock-up and not really a prototype. That was until one late night on eBay, I was searching for more rare plastic blue rats and found a Bendy Sonic for a very good price. Upon observing the pictures, I had to do a double take. It said Jazwares on the spikes, and any Toy Island branding was gone. I quickly bought the item, and a few days later, it arrived. So, lo and behold, friends, this is the incredibly rare and never released bendable Sonic by Jazwares. Okay, so let's get one thing out of the way first. I'd like to show you proof that this is real before any naysayers begin to scream in the comments. The original Toy Island Sonic had molded copyright and dates on the bottom of the shoe. The Jazwares version doesn't have that, but rather is molded on the side of his head. That's really bizarre. I understand they had to make new molding, but they couldn't have chose anywhere else. Either way, there's the living proof. Now, comparing the two versions of this figure side by side, you'll see the Jazwares release actually has a bit more of a muted color palette. The color of the muzzle and blue is not nearly as vibrant as the Toy Island release, but when it comes to molding, it is exactly the same. Nothing was really changed between the original release and the Jazwares prototype. Regardless, it still feels the same. The bendable wires inside feel just like the Toy Island release, and even all the little holes line up in the exact same spots on both versions. Honestly, it's just cool that this guy exists at all. Like, imagine if this actually came out and sold well. Do you think Jazwares would have gone ahead and re-released more Toy Island molds? Well, maybe. It's a good thing they didn't, because if they just kept doing that, who's to say we would have gotten all the amazing figures that they eventually made themselves? This is a really cool stepping stone in the history of Sonic collectibles because it's something that almost was. And there you have it. This video may have been short, but that's only because there really isn't much else to say. It's just personally very cool for me because I remember seeing the blurry low-res picture of these guys years and years ago and waiting so patiently for them. It just feels like a nice tiny victory to have the very thing I'd been waiting for in the collection finally, even if not officially released. It's also just neat to have because Sonic bendable figures almost came back in a way with Jakks-specific earlier Sonic figures. It seems they have kinda abandoned the bendable line at this point, but it's still so interesting as there just aren't that many bendable Sonic collectibles out there. As it stands, I'm incredibly happy to have this in the collection, and I hope you all have enjoyed seeing it.